Apart from basic shell materials such as select maple, birch, and beechwood, we use a variety of wood veneers. Our outside veneers are special in the way their grain is structured. The grain has a vertical instead of a horizontal structure. Generally, vertical veneers have to be set by hand to ensure a perfect match of their grain, their flower pattern, as we call it. This requires a much higher effort and precision as standard peeled veneers.
Here
you can see a selection of wood veneers which are being used for the making of the SQ2 series. In front, you see the so-called tiger finish, then Scandinavian birch, and finally, with horizontal position, two golden madrone veneers. This in particular is the veneer we will be following on its way through the drum-making process.
Auch die Oberfläche, die wir jetzt hier verfolgen in den ganzen Produktionsdurchlauf.
We get the veneers in standard dimensions, and we start by cutting them first to our specific height, using a precision sawing machine. The length of the veneer is determined in a step which we will see later in the shell making department.
Abteilung des Kesselbau. Diese Abteilung schauen wir uns hier nach an.
Here you can see the preparation for a so-called vintage shell. Vintage is our name for an extremely thin shell with reinforcement hoops at top and bottom, which of course also influence the sound.
Wir befinden uns jetzt in der Kesselpresserei.
We are now in the shell making department. Here, different shells are made, with veneer or without veneer for a later lacquer finish.
Mit einer deckenden Oberfläche versehen werden.
You can see the different shell presses from 8 inches to 26 inches in diameter.
Wir reden hier über ölbeheizte Kessel, das heißt also, die in Betrieb sind.
SONOR uses oil-heated presses with aluminum segments that have around 160 degrees Celsius and 50 to 60 kilograms of pressure per square centimeter.
Ein Druck von ungefähr 50 bis 60 Kilogramm pro Quadratzentimeter. So, hier findet jetzt das Ablängen.
Now the veneers are cut in length.
Geschnitten.
Our drum makers have to work extremely precise, since just 1 millimeter too short produces a 3 millimeter split. To avoid this, maximum attention to detail is required up to 1/10 of a millimeter. Plus a good deal of experience on the side of our master drum makers.
Da gehört auch ein ganzes Stück Erfahrung der Mitarbeiter hinzu, die Kessel so akkurat herzustellen.
One also has to consider that the outermost veneers have to be the longest, the inside veneers the shortest in length. Once the plies are in the shell press, you have no more influence. You have to be sure that each ply has been cut to exactly the right dimension. With this machine, the veneer plies, which have been cut to the right size, are being covered with glue on their bottom side. We use special two-component glue that reacts to pressure and heat, both being utilized in our shell presses in which the veneer is now put.
In die dieses Veneer jetzt eingelegt wird. So, zuerst wird die äußerste Lage eingelegt.
First, the outside veneer is inserted. The plies consist each of 2 to 3 layers, which have been cross-laminated, thus offering a certain external tension. The wood has the tendency to move to the exterior. This is why we do not use internal mechanisms with our shell presses. The shells themselves already offer high stability due to the multiple cross-lamination.
Über einen Hydraulikzylinder.
A hydraulic mechanism closes the press.
Und ab diesem Moment
From this moment on, there is no more adjustment possible.
an der Stelle
This is the point where a previous 100% precision work on the shell size is put to the test.
wurde. Der Kessel wurde innen etwas angefeuchtet.
The inside of the shell is cleaned from rests of the glue.
Gegebenenfalls zu entfernen. Und jetzt bleibt der Kessel
Now, each shell is literally baked for about 20 minutes inside the shell press under great pressure and heat.
in dieser Presse gebacken. So, hier wird der Trommelkessel
Here, the length of the shell is being cut. In this case, it's an SQ2 snare drum with 6-inch depth.
mit der Tiefe von 6 Zoll. Wie gesagt, die Höhe wird an dem Anschlag eingestellt.
After cutting it to the correct size, the bearing edge of the shell is created.
Und anschließend kümmern wir uns um den Kesselrand. Also ein ganz entscheidender Schritt in der Fertigung.
The bearing edge has a lot of influence on the final performance of the drum shell. We always use a 45-degree angle for the bearing edge.
Eine speziell dafür entwickelte Fräse
It is created using our own specially developed milling machine.
ist und dann in der Mitte eine
You can see the metal block with a 100% smooth surface.
über einen
In the center, a spindle is positioned with which the 45-degree angle is created.
halte ich hier eine 100%ige
By pressing the shell against this spindle, a high-precision bearing edge is created.
Kesselrand nicht
It is crucially important to have maximum precision here, since any uneven surface would inhibit the direct head-to-shell contact and result in reduced sustain and tuning.
beziehungsweise man wird niemals den Sustain erzielen mit dieser Trommel, den man gerne möchte. Der auf Maß geschnittene Kessel wird jetzt hier
Now, the shell, already in the final dimensions, is being grinded before it is sent to the next step of drum making, the lacquering department.
lackiert wird.